The automatic doors of Riverside Medical Center whooshed open as Maya Torres stumbled through, clutching her swollen belly. Rain soaked through her clothes, and her dark hair clung to her face. Another contraction seized her body, stealing her breath. "Not now," she gasped. "Please, not yet. 3 weeks early." She wasn't ready. The nursery wasn't finished. Her hospital bag sat half-packed at home. And she was completely, utterly alone. Maya took another step forward, her sneakers squeaking on the polished floor. The emergency room buzzed with activity, nurses rushing past, a child crying somewhere, the sharp smell of antiseptic burning her nostrils. She opened her mouth to call for help, but the words died as her legs buckled. The floor rushed up to meet her. Pain exploded through her knees as she crashed down, her purse flying open and scattering contents across the tile, lipstick, keys, her phone with the cracked screen she'd never gotten fixed. "We need a stretcher here." A nurse's voice cut through the chaos. "Pregnant woman down." Hands lifted Maya onto a gurney. The ceiling tiles blurred past as they wheeled her down the corridor at frightening speed. She tried to focus on the breathing exercises from her prenatal class, but the contractions were coming too fast, too hard. Her body had its own agenda now. "My babies," Maya managed through gritted teeth. "Please. We've got you, honey," the nurse said, her face appearing above Maya's. "The on-call OB is already prepped. You're going to be fine." They burst through double doors into the delivery room. Bright lights assaulted Maya's eyes as they transferred her to the surgical bed. Monitors beeped frantically around her. Medical staff moved with practiced efficiency, but everything felt surreal, like watching herself in a movie. "All right, let's assess the situation." A male voice, confident and calm. Maya's heart stopped. She knew that voice. It had whispered promises in her ear during lazy Saturday mornings. It had laughed at her terrible jokes over candlelit dinners. It had said goodbye without explanation 18 months ago, shattering her world into pieces she was still trying to glue back together. Her eyes snapped open, finding the man in scrubs approaching her bedside. Dr. Ethan Blake stood there, his surgical mask hanging around his neck, his golden brown hair shorter than she remembered. New lines creased the corners of his hazel eyes, but it was unmistakably him. The man who had vanished without a trace. The man whose babies she was about to deliver. "No." Maya's voice cracked. "No. Not you. Anyone but you." Ethan froze mid-step, the color draining from his face as recognition dawned. "Maya?" Her name came out strangled, disbelieving. "Oh God, Maya. Get out." Maya tried to sit up despite the contraction building in her core. "I don't want you anywhere near me or my children. Miss Torres." The nurse placed a gentle hand on her shoulder. "You're fully dilated. The baby's heart rates are dropping. We need to proceed immediately." "I don't care," Maya said, tears streaming down her face, mixing with the rain still dripping from her hair. "Call another doctor. Call anyone else." Ethan moved closer, his jaw tight, hands trembling slightly at his sides. "There is no one else, Maya. Dr. Chen is in emergency surgery that can't be interrupted. I'm the only OB available." He paused, swallowing hard. "Your babies are in distress. They need to be delivered now." I said no. But another contraction tore through her, and Maya screamed. The pain consumed everything, her anger, her shock, her carefully constructed life without him. "Maya, listen to me." Ethan's voice took on a professional tone, though his eyes betrayed his turmoil. "Right now, I'm not your ex. I'm the doctor who's going to make sure your twins are born safely. Can you let me do that?" Every fiber of Maya's being wanted to refuse. But as another wave of agony crashed over her, she realized the truth. Her babies were in danger. And Ethan, despite everything, was their best chance. "Fine," she gasped. "But don't talk to me. Just do your job and disappear." Again. The barb hit its mark. She saw him flinch, but Ethan nodded and moved into position. "I need to examine you. The first baby is crowning. On the next contraction, push with everything you have." Maya turned her face away, unable to look at him. How had her life led to this impossible moment? "Contraction coming," the nurse announced, eyes on the monitor. "Now, Maya. Push now." Maya bore down with everything she had, her hands gripping the bed rails until her knuckles went white. She pushed until stars exploded behind her eyelids, until her throat burned raw from screaming. "You're doing amazing," Ethan encouraged, though his voice wavered. "I can see the head. One more push just like that." "I can't," Maya sobbed, exhausted beyond measure. "I can't do this." "Yes, you can." Ethan's voice turned fierce. "You're the strongest person I've ever known. You can do this, Maya." Something in his tone made her look at him. Really look. There were unshed tears in his eyes, barely contained emotion cracking through his professional mask. Despite everything, despite the clinical detachment he was trying to maintain, this moment was destroying him too. Another contraction built and Maya pushed again. Suddenly, pressure released and the most beautiful sound filled the room, a baby's cry. "You have a daughter," Ethan said, voice thick with emotion. He held up the tiny, wriggling infant for just a moment before passing her to the waiting nurse. Maya saw his hands tremble, saw him quickly wipe his eyes. "Baby A is stable, but baby B's heart rate is critical," the ultrasound nurse called out urgently. "Dropping fast." "The second baby is breech," Ethan announced, his focus snapping back to Maya. "I need to manually turn him." "Maya, this is going to hurt." "Just do it," Maya panted, desperate. "Save him. Please, Ethan." What followed was agony beyond anything she'd experienced. She felt his hands working, felt impossible pressure as he repositioned the baby. She screamed, bit down on the towel a nurse pressed to her mouth, and prayed for it to end. "Got him," Ethan announced, breathing hard. "He's in position." "Maya, I need one more push. Can you do that for me?" Maya didn't have energy left to respond, but when the contraction came, she pushed with every last shred of strength. The world narrowed to just this single, monumental effort, then, another cry. Weaker than the first, but there. "Both babies are stable," the nurse announced after an eternity. "Premature but breathing on their own. Girl and boy. APGAR scores are good." Maya collapsed back, completely spent. She was vaguely aware of Ethan finishing the delivery, of the medical team bustling around, but exhaustion pulled her under like a tide. Her last clear thought, her babies were alive. When Maya woke, the room was dim and quiet. She thought she was alone until movement by the window caught her eye. Ethan sat there, still in his scrubs, head in his hands. "You should go," Maya said, her voice hoarse. Ethan stood slowly, looking like he'd aged years in hours. "I need to tell you why I left." "I don't want to hear it." "My mother threatened to destroy you," Ethan said quickly, desperately. "Victoria Blake found out about our engagement. She gave me an ultimatum: leave you immediately, or she'd ruin your graphic design business, bankrupt your parents, and blacklist you from every agency in the state. She had the power to do it, Maya. Files on you, on your family, surveillance photos. I couldn't risk it." Maya stared at him, unable to process the words. "You're lying." "I'm not." Ethan pulled out his phone with shaking hands and gave it to her. "It's all here. Every threat, every piece of evidence. I've spent 18 months building a case against her. She was arrested 2 months ago for fraud, extortion, and conspiracy. Her real estate empire is finished." Maya took the phone, scrolling through screenshots of text messages, recorded calls, legal documents. Her parents' names appeared multiple times. The threats were explicit and terrifying. She said she'd make it look like accidents, Ethan continued, his voice breaking. Your family, your business partners, you. She was willing to destroy everything you loved if I didn't disappear. So I did. I made you hate me because I thought it would keep you safe. You destroyed me to save me, Maya whispered. I know how that sounds. I know what I did was unforgivable. Ethan wiped his eyes roughly. But I couldn't let her hurt you. I've been watching over you this whole time, making sure you were safe. When I found out you were pregnant 6 months ago, I transferred here. I made sure I'd be here when you needed me. The babies, Maya said softly. They're yours. I know, Ethan said. I've known since your 20-week ultrasound. I've been terrified every day that something would go wrong and I wouldn't be there to protect you all. Maya didn't know what to feel, anger, relief, confusion, and a dangerous flicker of the love she'd tried to bury all warred inside her. What do you want from me? She asked. Nothing, Ethan said. I don't expect forgiveness. I just needed you to know the truth. And I want to know my children, if you'll let me. But I'll understand if you say no. Before Maya could respond, a nurse entered with a wheelchair. Ready to see your babies, Mom? Maya nodded. As they wheeled her toward the NICU, she felt Ethan following at a distance. Through the glass, she saw them, 2 tiny fighters in incubators. Everything had changed in one impossible night. And Maya had no idea what came next. 6 weeks later, Maya stood in her kitchen at 3 a.m., heating a bottle while both babies cried from the nursery. Exhaustion had become her permanent state. She'd just gotten Lily back to sleep when Noah woke up hungry, and now Lily was awake again, probably needing a diaper change. The doorbell rang. Maya froze. Who would visit at this hour? Through the peephole, she saw Ethan, holding coffee and what looked like breakfast bags. I know it's early, he said when she opened the door. But I just finished a double shift and thought you might need backup. And coffee. Please tell me you need coffee. Maya wanted to be angry that he'd shown up unannounced. Instead, she nearly cried with relief. They're both screaming and I only have 2 hands. Good thing I brought mine. Ethan stepped inside, setting down the food and immediately heading for the nursery. Within minutes, he had Noah changed and eating while Maya handled Lily. They worked in synchronized silence, 2 exhausted people united by tiny, demanding humans. You're good at this, Maya admitted, watching him burp Noah with practiced ease. I've been watching YouTube videos, Ethan confessed. And reading every parenting book I could find. I know I don't have the right to just show up, but, Ethan. Maya cut him off. Thank you. For coming. For helping. For. She gestured helplessly at the evidence folder he'd given her, which sat on her coffee table. She'd read every page a dozen times. For everything you sacrificed. Over the following weeks, Ethan became a steady presence. He'd stop by before or after shifts, always bringing food or supplies Maya needed. He never stayed long unless invited, never pushed for more than she was ready to give. He simply showed up, reliable and patient, proving through actions what words couldn't convey. One evening, Maya was attempting to fold laundry while both babies lay on a playmat. Ethan arrived with Thai food and immediately sat on the floor with the twins, making ridiculous faces that had them gurgling with delight. Lily smiled. Maya exclaimed, grabbing her phone. Do it again. Ethan obliged, and this time both babies smiled. Maya captured the moment on video, laughing as Ethan's dignified doctor persona disappeared entirely in his quest to entertain his children. You look ridiculous, she said, grinning. Worth it. He glanced up at her, and something warm passed between them. Maya, can I ask you something? Depends what it is. Would you let me take you all to the park this Saturday? Nothing weird, just. I'd like to spend time with all of you. Together. Maya hesitated. They'd been rebuilding trust, but this felt like crossing a threshold. Still, watching him with their children, seeing his devotion, she found herself nodding. Okay. But I'm bringing backup snacks. I wouldn't expect anything less. Saturday arrived sunny and perfect. At the park, Ethan pushed the double stroller while Maya walked beside him. They talked about everything, her design work, his cases at the hospital, the twins' developmental milestones. To anyone watching, they looked like a regular family. Noah grabbed my finger yesterday and wouldn't let go for 10 minutes, Maya said, smiling at the memory. Lily's been tracking objects with her eyes, Ethan added. I read that's early for 8 weeks. Of course you're researching baby development. I want to be prepared. He stopped walking, turning to face her. The sunlight caught in his hair, making the golden strands glow. Maya, I know I don't have the right to say this, but watching you with them, seeing how incredible you are as a mother while juggling your career. You're extraordinary. Maya's breath caught. Ethan, I'm not asking for anything, he said quickly. I just need you to know that I never stopped loving you. Not for a single day. Everything I did, every sacrifice, it was because losing you was better than seeing you hurt. Before Maya could respond, Lily started crying. The moment broke as they both rushed to comfort her. But as Ethan lifted their daughter from the stroller, expertly soothing her, Maya felt something shift inside her chest. She wasn't just healing from the pain. She was falling in love with him again, this newer, humbler version who'd proven his devotion in the hardest way possible, and that terrified her more than anything. Three months after the twins' birth, Maya stood in her apartment, staring at the mess of baby toys, laundry, and takeout containers. Her life had become a beautiful chaos, and somehow, Ethan had become an integral part of it. He had keys now. She'd given them to him last week after he'd driven across town at midnight to help when both babies had colic. He did laundry without being asked, restocked her fridge, and somehow always knew when she was at her breaking point. Tonight was one of those nights. Maya had been trying to soothe Noah for an hour while Lily screamed in sympathy. Her design deadline was tomorrow. She'd gotten 3 hours of sleep, and she was fairly certain she'd worn her shirt inside out all day. When Ethan walked in, still in scrubs from his shift, she nearly sobbed with relief. I've got them, he said, immediately taking Noah. You go shower. Eat something. Breathe. I have work, which you can't finish if you collapse. Go, Maya. I've got this. She wanted to argue, but the exhaustion won. 40 minutes later, she emerged from the bathroom in clean pajamas, smelling like lavender body wash instead of spit up. The apartment was quiet. In the nursery, she found Ethan in the rocking chair with both babies asleep on his chest, one hand supporting each of them. He was asleep too, his head tilted back, looking peaceful in a way she rarely saw. Maya's heart squeezed painfully. This man, who'd given up everything to protect her, who showed up every day without expectation, who loved their children with fierce devotion, was everything she'd thought she'd lost forever. She must have made a sound because Ethan's eyes opened. They looked at each other across the dim nursery, something electric and tender passing between them. Hey, he whispered, careful not to wake the babies. Hey. Maya moved closer. Let me take one. Together, they transferred the twins to their cribs. In the hallway, standing close in the soft light spilling from the nursery, Maya found she couldn't move away. Ethan, she began, unsure what to say. I should go, he said, but didn't move. His eyes searched her face, vulnerable and hopeful. Unless what? Unless you want me to stay. He raised a hand, gently tucking a damp strand of hair behind her ear. His fingers lingered against her cheek. Not in the guest room. Not as the guy who helps with the babies. but as someone who's here because you want him here. Maya's pulse thundered. This was the moment, the cliff's edge. She could step back, keep things safe and separate. Or she could leap. I want you to stay, she whispered. Ethan exhaled shakily. Maya, I need you to be sure. I can't, I won't risk hurting you again. You won't. She placed her hand over his, pressing it against her cheek. You've spent months proving who you are, Ethan. You're not the man who left. You're the man who sacrificed everything and came back. You're the man who shows up every day. You're the father our children deserve. She paused, gathering courage. And you're the man I'm falling in love with. Again. Still. Maybe I never stopped. Maya. Her name was a prayer. Ethan's other hand cupped her face, his thumb brushing across her cheekbone. I love you. I've loved you through everything. Through the leaving and the missing you and the coming back. You're it for me. You and Lily and Noah, you're my whole world. Then kiss me, Maya breathed. Ethan closed the distance between them, his lips meeting hers with infinite gentleness. The kiss was soft at first, tentative, like they were learning each other again. Then Maya's hand slid into his hair and Ethan pulled her closer, and the kiss deepened into something urgent and real. When they finally broke apart, both breathless, Ethan rested his forehead against hers. Stay, Maya said again. Not just tonight. Stay with us. Be a family. Are you sure? I've never been more sure of anything. That night, Ethan stayed. And the next night. And the one after that. They didn't rush, there were late-night feedings and diaper changes and the beautiful chaos of infant twins. But there were also stolen kisses in the kitchen, hands held while watching their children sleep, and the slow, steady rebuilding of something even stronger than before. 2 weeks later, over breakfast while both babies gurgled happily in their bouncer seats, Ethan cleared his throat nervously. So, I was thinking, he began. Dangerous, Maya teased, sipping her coffee. I want to do this right. The way I should have the first time. He pulled a small box from his pocket and Maya's heart stopped. Maya Torres, you're the strongest, most incredible woman I've ever known. You're an amazing mother, a brilliant designer, and somehow you found it in your heart to give me a second chance I didn't deserve. I promise to spend every day proving I'm worthy of it. Will you marry me? The ring was different from the first one, simpler, more elegant. Real. Yes, Maya said, tears streaming down her face. Yes, absolutely yes. Ethan slipped the ring on her finger and kissed her as both babies chose that moment to start crying, as if celebrating with them, and Maya knew, with absolute certainty, that they were going to be okay. Better than okay. They were going to be extraordinary. 6 months after Ethan's proposal, Maya stood in a private garden overlooking the harbor, adjusting her simple cream-colored dress. It wasn't the elaborate wedding they'd planned the first time. This was intimate, honest, just family and close friends. You look beautiful, her mother said, helping arrange the small flower crown in Maya's hair. Are you ready? Maya looked through the doorway to where Ethan waited at the altar, holding both twins. At 10 months old, Lily and Noah were dressed in matching outfits, Lily in a tiny purple dress, Noah in a miniature suit. They were their parents' ring bearers, though Maya suspected Ethan would end up carrying them through the whole ceremony. I'm ready, she said. The ceremony was perfect in its imperfection. Noah tried to eat the rings. Lily started babbling loudly during the vows. Ethan's voice cracked when he promised to love Maya forever. Maya cried through her entire vow. And no one cared because it was real and messy and theirs. I now pronounce you husband and wife, the officiant declared. Ethan kissed Maya with both babies still in his arms, and their small gathering erupted in applause. At the reception, Maya danced with her new husband while both sets of grandparents took turns with the twins. Mrs. Blake, Ethan murmured against her ear. How does that sound? Actually, I'm keeping Torres professionally, Maya said. But I like the sound of Maya Blake too. And Lily and Noah Blake Torres has a nice ring to it. Perfect. Ethan spun her gently. Have I mentioned how much I love you? Not in the last hour. I was starting to worry. He laughed, pulling her closer. I love you, Maya Blake Torres. More than blueprints and medical degrees and everything I thought mattered before I met you. I love you too, she whispered. Even when I hated you, I loved you. That's mildly concerning. You'll survive. 1 year later. Maya sat in the park, watching Ethan chase after Lily and Noah, who were toddling around with the determined chaos of 18-month-olds. Her hand rested on her slightly rounded belly. Surprise number 3 was due in 5 months. How's my family? Ethan asked, collapsing onto the blanket beside her, slightly out of breath. Your daughter just ate a leaf, Maya reported. And your son is trying to befriend that very large dog. Our children are feral. They get it from you. Ethan laughed, pulling her close and placing his hand over hers on her stomach. Can you believe we almost missed this? Maya thought about that night in the delivery room, the shock, the pain, the impossible reunion. She thought about the months of rebuilding trust, the sleepless nights, the small moments that had woven them back together. I can believe it, she said. But I'm grateful we didn't. Everything we went through, all the pain and sacrifice, it led us here. And here is pretty perfect. Even with the feral children? Especially with the feral children. Lily chose that moment to toddle over and climb into Maya's lap, sticky hands and all. Noah followed, reaching for Ethan. They sat there, a tangle of family, and Maya felt complete. The past had been painful. The reunion had been shocking. But the life they'd built together, messy and beautiful and real, was worth every moment of heartbreak it had taken to get here. Dada, Lily said, patting Ethan's face. Mama, Noah added, grinning at Maya. Our kids are geniuses, Ethan declared. Maya laughed, kissing her husband's cheek. Obviously. They get it from me. And as the sun set over the park, painting everything in shades of gold and purple, Maya knew with absolute certainty that this chaotic, loving, perfectly imperfect family, was exactly where she was meant to be.